Hey everybody, this is Kevin Glenn here with Investment Housing Specialists and IHS Property Management. This is part two of our four-part series about all the new laws that are going into effect on June 11th of this year. Again, just want to remind everybody that we do not offer tax, accounting, or legal advice because we are not lawyers or accountants. This is purely informational, so let's take a look at the second law we have coming into effect this year. So the new law that we got coming into effect this year is talking about how you have to provide a grace period before you can charge any late fees for past due rent. The new law states that you have to have a 5-day grace period from whenever your rent is due on your lease or rental agreement before you can charge a late fee. So in other words, if your rent is due on the 1st, you need to go 5 days from that before you can charge a late fee. So you cannot charge late fees until you hit the 7th of the month, okay? So again, like in our lease agreements, it's a $75 late fee. We may not actually charge that late fee until the 7th because our lease agreement says rent's due on the 1st. Now, if you charge a late fee per day, say you charge 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever per day, you can then make it go retroactive back to the first day it was considered late. So if rent was due on the 1st, and they hadn't paid rent, you gave them the 5-day grace period, it's now the 7th, you may make that per day late fee retroactive back to the 2nd. So they all those late fees from the 2nd forward to the 7th if you charge per day. The other thing is this is important that you may still serve a pay rent or vacate notice after the due date is passed. You don't have to wait for the 5-day grace period. So if rent's due on the 1st, on the 2nd, you may go ahead and serve that pay rent or vacate notice. And that's important that you go ahead and serve those pay rent or vacate notices. Later on in one of the other laws, we'll talk about why that's important. This is also in the new law. A resident may request in writing to change the rent due date up to 5 days after the rent due date in the rental agreement. And here's the big if. If their monthly source of income is government assistance that is not received until after the due date in the rental agreement, they must submit in writing and they must provide proof that their government assistance is coming after whatever your due date is in your rental agreement. Now, one thing you need to understand, let's say rent's due on the 1st. Let's say said resident comes to you with in writing, will you please move my due date back to the 4th because I don't receive my government assistance of what form that is, whether it's VASH, Section 8, any kind of those government assistance, SSI, I don't receive it until the 3rd, so we make my due date the 4th. You will have to accommodate that. What you need to understand then is the 5-day grace period then starts from that new rent due date, not from the 1st, but from the due date that you changed to, which is the 4th, and then it's a 5-day grace period from there. So I hope that this helps, and please stay tuned for the next 2 parts. We'll have parts 3 and 4 covering the 3rd and 4th law that has also been passed. Have a great day.